Hello, everybody, and welcome to Late Night Football Match Reaction Show. It's finished Leicester 2, Chelsea nil, and I was kind of debating if I should do this one. Is it even worth doing it? I mean, if you're watching this, if you're based in India, do you even care about football today? Is it a day for football today? But anyway, we're gonna do it. We're gonna look at it, and I mean, it's an interesting game, isn't it? It's a season that keeps ebbing and flowing and ebbing and flowing, and through all of that, Leicester are now top of the Premier League table. I mean, they have played a game more than Liverpool and Manchester United, and two games more than Manchester City. But still, for now, Leicester are top of the table and looking sitting really pretty. And I mean, what a performance! What a performance today! And I was debating doing this because normally, you kind of take the narrative of Chelsea being in crisis and you kind of overlook what Leicester have done. But today, I thought Leicester was sensational. The way they played today was absolutely brilliant, absolutely amazing. I mean, Chelsea barely had a sniff. I think they had two chances. One was whether it was a penalty. It was not a penalty. I think that was the correct decision, but that was the one chance that they had, and then the disallowed goal for Werner, which I think should have been allowed. Again, it's VAR being very, very pedantic. Again, if you see it from the naked eye and it looks onside, it's onside, and to me, it looked onside, so it should have been given. I don't think it would have made much of a difference to the result, but I mean, aside from those two chances, I think Chelsea created absolutely nothing throughout the game, and Leicester was a big credit to Leicester, the way they were pressing. There was always like two or three players around the ball, around the Chelsea player, having them. Chelsea couldn't pass through, they couldn't get through, they were running out of ideas throughout the game. Then they, break forward. I mean, it was a sensational the way they were counter-attacking that first goal. I thought there was a bit of luck to it because I don't think Barnes actually meant to pass it, but Ndidi strikes it so well. It was right at the top corner, and then could have been 1-1 with a penalty, but it's not. And up the other end, Leicester go and Madison just goes. I mean, it's hard not to look at it from the lens of what Chelsea could have done because I think both goals were avoidable in some sense. They were both avoidable, so you kind of look at what Chelsea could have done differently. But I think at the same time, you've got to acknowledge the fact that Chelsea as an offensive force, they were completely neutralized in this game, completely outmanned offensively. And I don't know whether that's now. Is that now a case of the team starting to lose faith in Frank Lampard? I mean, those questions will start to rise now. But I think what it also shows is that Leicester completely buy into whatever Brendan Rodgers is telling them. They bought into whatever his tactics are. They bought into what they need to do. I mean, today, the interesting thing is Timothy Castagne, who's a left back, is playing right back, and James Justin, who's a right back, is playing left back. So he swapped that around. I mean, it's interesting. You normally see wingers getting swapped around. You don't normally see fullbacks getting swapped around. I don't know if he did it. There was a tactical reason to do it. I would assume that was the case. But it changed the whole again. But it changes the game, doesn't it? It's like everybody is buying into whatever Brendan Rodgers wants them to do. Can they win the league title? I mean, that's a very interesting question, isn't it? I still feel that in order of favorites, I think Leicester and Manchester City are probably top two. I'd put Leicester as third favorites, depending on where you see Spurs. I mean, are Spurs still in a title race? I mean, if you look at the points table, you probably think Spurs are now out of it because they are at the moment. Actually they're not out of it because they're only 5 points off, so they'll only be 2 points off if they win their game that they have in hand. So they'll only be 2 points off. So of Leicester? So I mean, would you put them ahead of Leicester? Would you put them behind Leicester as favorites? I would say Leicester are probably bigger favorites than Spurs. So I would say they're probably third favorites at the moment to win the league title. And I know some people are going to be going, well, what about a certain red team from Manchester? I mean, for United's point of view, it's not there. I don't want to talk about that right now. And maybe tomorrow, based on what we see tomorrow, the result, we'll probably talk about that. But let's make this about Leicester. I think Leicester right now probably are third favorites. To win the league. I think Manchester City, I think, are probably favorites. I think Liverpool a second. I think they both are too far ahead. I think that's too much of a bridge for Leicester to cross at this point. But they have a very good chance in the Europa League. I think that's going to be something that they can focus on. I think they will also have a very good chance of finishing the top four. If they can finish top four this season, I think that would be progress. Mostly on the mental side of things, because I think last season they disintegrated mentally, and they should have finished third, and they should have finished third easily. But it was towards the last stretch of the season, they kind of just lost their way a little bit. There were injuries, there was fixture congestion. They just kind of wilted away a little bit. And if they can focus on that this season, if they can get over that hurdle, then I think that will be progress for them. So that's where they'll be looking at. They look well primed. I mean, when you look at the Leicester team, I don't see a lot of weaknesses in the team. I don't see any obvious weaknesses. I mean, maybe Johnny Evans is a bit rash, but then Soyuncu is actually the number one defender. It's not Evans. Evans played today because Soyuncu didn't play today. So I think if you look at it as a FIFA analogy, I think Leicester are a team of like the 80s, the 81s, the 82 level players. That's what they have. They don't have that X factor yet. I think Vardy's probably one, but he's way too old at this point. I think they lack those X factors, those 86, 87, 88, 90 level players. And again, I know life is not FIFA, so I'm not trying to make a comparison. I'm just saying that if you're trying to build a team, you need one or two of those players to then just take you to that next level and bring you up. And I don't think they have that at the moment. So I think that's the only reason why I don't think they're firmer favorites to win. That's why I think that they will fall short in the league title race. Will they get a top four place? Again, that's up for question. I think a lot of that will depend on how Spurs play this season. If Spurs continue to play the way they're playing, they will blow their chance of finishing the top four, and then Leicester have a good chance. But if Spurs can, finally get over that hurdle and start performing, like the team that they're supposed to be performing as, and not be so defensive, I think they have a chance. But I mean, Europa League again is a fantastic opportunity for them as well to look at. So I wouldn't take that lightly as well if I were Leicester. So there are chances for glory for Leicester this season. I think they were just phenomenal today. And the only thing I can say is that if they keep this up, we might have started doing Leicester match reactions as well on this show. Just kidding. But anyway, now we're going to move on to Chelsea, and I mean it's the bet. It's a bit of a relay race, isn't it? Where you start in terms of the managerial crisis. It started with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Right off the bat, he's not gonna last more than 5 games. I said it myself. I didn't think he was gonna last this long. He somehow managed to pass it on to Mikel Arteta. Arteta held it for a bit. There was Pep Guardiola in the middle there. He was trying to steal it, but I think he kind of got away with that. But Mikel Arteta had it for a long time, and it's Arsenal. He's like he's gonna get sacked, and then suddenly he manages to pass the baton on now to Frank Lampard. Lampard is now under serious pressure. I mean, as I said, I think it starts. When the team plays the way that they play today, and I don't think you can never say that Chelsea are going to keep clean sheets because they're not. They're very, very defensively poor. So them conceding goals is not that big a deal. They had that period in between where they were looking very solid defensively, but I mean, overall, throughout Lampard's tenure, you kind of have to take the fact that they're probably going to concede a goal or two every game. The issue is on the offensive side. They've now stopped creating goals. They've now stopped scoring goals, and that is a problem. That's a massive problem. They would not have beaten Fulham if Fulham had not gone down to 10 men. I don't think they would have been able to beat Fulham. I think they got lucky there. Then today, you could see clearly there was absolutely no idea, absolutely no creativity. There was no desire as well to do it, to try to do something different, to try to make something happen. I mean, it just looked like they were just going through the motions. Like if something works out, it works out. We'll just keep try. It starts, and that's how it starts. That's how when players start looking disinterested, and that's when you kind of start to get an idea: is the manager now? Is he starting to lose the players? Are the players starting to lose confidence in the manager? Those are the questions that will arise. I mean, it's a very, very serious situation now for Lampard at this point because I mean, Abramovich just fired managers for less, but they're starting to fall out. They're now 8th in the table. They're just 2 points clear of Arsenal at this point. Or they will be 2 points clear of Arsenal if Arsenal win their game. Well, actually, they are 2 points. So they are 2 points clear of Arsenal. Arsenal, they play the same number of games at this point. So, they're 2 points, just 2 points clear of Arsenal. Southampton can overtake them. So they're currently 8th. They could be 9th if Southampton win their game in hand. So then you go down to 9th. I mean, that's just, it's unacceptable for a team of Chelsea's caliber, team that has spent 200 million pounds. I know we keep using that money as a stick to beat them, but 200 million pounds they spend. And again, that is also an issue, right? That itself, because you have to question what the recruitment policy was for Chelsea. Did they really need 7-8 players this season? It almost felt like they were like, well, we didn't sign 3 players last season, and we need to sign 4 players this season, so let's just bring 7 players in. They didn't need that many signings. At the start of the season, you could have said yes, they needed a goalkeeper. I think Mendy did okay today, but I think they could have got a better goalkeeper. And I kept saying this. I still can't believe that they didn't make a bid for Emiliano Martinez. Maybe they did in the back, and we don't know what they did, but it's in the behind the scenes, maybe we don't know, but the fact is there was a bid for Emiliano Martinez. A goalkeeper was clearly better than anything they had. He's second choice Arsenal. He could easily improve the team. I don't think Mendy was the answer, but anyway, they've got him in. So the goalkeeper they needed. They needed defenders. They got a left back who can't defend in Ben Chilwell. They paid 50 million pounds for him. I thought that was overpriced. They got a 36, 37-year-old defender. Thiago Silva has never played in the Premier League. Debatable. I mean, most people will say yes, he's brought some assurance and some calmness, and maybe he's a good signing because he's free, but he's not a long-term signing. He's not someone who's going to be able to consistently improve them for 2-3 seasons, maybe this season. And then you go back, and then what do you do after that? They bought Malang Sarr, but they're not going to use him until next season, so that's another one that they've kind of let go. So I mean, the areas that they needed to improve upon was the defense, and they didn't really improve it. Aside from maybe you could say Thiago Silva improved it a little bit. Although it would have been hard to buy someone who could not improve that central defense considering how bad they were. But It didn't really improve them to the fact. They bought a lot of attackers, and today it's telling that it's a big game against Leicester away from home. Werner didn't start. The big striker Werner didn't start. Ziyech, who came in with so much hype and fanfare, he didn't start today either. Whatever the reasons may be, neither of those two started. So two of your three big summer signings didn't start. You've got Havertz who played today, but he looked absolutely out of sorts, and he just looks like he wants to be anywhere other than at Chelsea right now. It just looks like he doesn't want to play at the moment. He has no idea what he's doing, so he's at an issue. You've got you've got who else have you got? There's so many players I can't even remember the names of the players that are signed. But I think but you've got those three big signings. I guess I think that's it about it, isn't it? The three signings, and then you've got the three defenders and the goalkeeper. I might be missing someone, but those were the three big blockbuster signings that they made. Two of them didn't start. The other one who did start didn't play well. The two who came on didn't exactly play that well either. Although Werner should have had a goal, but I don't think he did much aside from that either. So and neither of them have had really great seasons. So you signed 7 players for that amount of money, but none of them have really improved the team. And you didn't need those 3 signings that you made. You probably could have got away with one. Maybe they needed a striker. Maybe Werner was a striker they needed because you want to get an upgrade on Giroud and Tammy Abraham, perhaps. I don't think they needed. I don't think they particularly needed Ziyech. I don't think they particularly needed Havertz. They definitely didn't need Havertz. They probably, yes, Ziyech is a good signing. You probably needed him. I think they could have got a goalkeeper, a defender, a central defender, and then probably a couple of attackers. That would have been good. But I just think now they have too many options, and what is that has done is that has unsettled Chelsea a lot. It has unsettled Chelsea a lot, and the players who were probably in with them, they were playing together, they were building an understanding. Now that has been broken up, so now it's about building new partnerships, new understandings, and that takes time. And everybody's trying to do it all at the same time, so it's just a mess right now. But the question is Lampard the man to sort it out? I'm sure he thinks he is. Does Abramovich think he is? I think that is the question. But it's a lot of issues right now at Chelsea, and if I was, the question is, if you're trying to predict, I don't think he's going to be sacked now. I think he's going to stay on the job for maybe till the first leg of the Champions League. I think they'll see how that one goes. If Chelsea is still in the Champions League at the end of that first leg, then I think that's fine, and they'll probably continue. But I think if he is in an uncertain, if he's in a position where they've got to really play out of their skins to qualify for the quarterfinals, if they've already been eliminated, I think then he will probably be sacked at that point, depending on where he is in the league. But at that point as well, I think if he's not in the top 4 in the league at that time, if they're kind of slipping away, then I think there's no point continuing. So they'll probably sack him at that point. But for now, I think he's just about there, in the job. But he's got about a month or so to kind of see if he can steady the ship, if he can turn it around. He's done it before. We said at the start of the season, Chelsea defense was struggling, but then he's kind of managed to turn it around, got it working again, and then suddenly, I don't know what, I think it was the Arsenal game, isn't it? The whole script flipped. Was it the Arsenal game, or was it a game before? I can't remember. There was a game. I think the Arsenal game was the one where it was laid bare, but I think there was a game before that as well, where I think they were really struggling, and it's been there for a while. It's really been there for a while now that these things are sort of simmering, and they've been trying to paper them over a little bit. They've been getting away with results in some cases, but it's coming to a head, isn't it? And you gotta wonder what the future holds for Chelsea and for Lampard. In terms of the season where they are, I think they're still well placed to finish in the top 6 now. The top 4 looks a little bit, each passing result looks a little bit further away. The issue is the points gaps are so narrow at the moment. If you just look at where Chelsea are right now, even with their bad form, they're only 9 points off of Leicester, and they're only 4 points off of Tottenham. Though Tottenham have played a game less, so it's not a big gap that cannot be overcome. You can still overcome them at this point in the season. You just have got to play really well, but you can do it. So they're not that far off if you think about it, though they'll probably be 9th. They could be 9th, not probably, but they could be 9th by the end of this game week. But they're still not that far off. So it's interesting. It's a season that we've never seen, a season the likes of which we have never seen before. I've never seen before such a season where things fluctuate so quickly from one position to the other. It's just incredible. It is just incredible. But that's Premier League for you. But anyway, congratulations to Leicester. They finished Leicester 2, Chelsea 0. It's the first time Brendan Rodgers has beaten Chelsea, by the way. Probably goes somewhere to erasing that game at Anfield that happened all those years ago. But anyway, so congratulations to Leicester. I think Chelsea, they've got a little bit of thinking to do. But the good news is that they've got the FA Cup this weekend, so they can at least kind of focus away from the league, kind of focus on the cup competition, see what happens there. But it's a very, very interesting season. But please smash like if you enjoyed the game, if you know enjoyed Leicester's performance, and please do comment and let me know what you think about how Lampard can resolve these issues that are currently taking place in the Chelsea team. I haven't really gone in depth into the tactics in the team, so I think that's something that requires a little bit more deeper introspection than what we can do today. But I mean, let me know what you think. What do you think needs to change? Does the manager need to go now? Do you still want to give him time at the club? And of course, please do remember to subscribe to the channel if you're new. We really appreciate your support, and we want to keep producing videos. So your subscription helps us in continuing to do that. So thank you so much. Have a good day or night, whatever time you're watching this, and I will see you again very, very soon. Take care. Bye bye.